Dear children, welcome you all in the online classes of Bishop Academy. In the last day, we have discussed about the second application of Gauss theorem, which is electric field due to infinitely and uniformly charged plane sheet. It's okay. Now we shall discuss about the electric field due to uniformly charged spherical shell. In this topic, the electric field is first of all found outside the cell and then on the surface of the cell and after last inside the spherical shell. It means there are 3 points where electric field is to be found: outside, on the surface of spherical shell and inside the spherical shell. First of all, we have discussed the electric field outside the spherical shell. Then let us consider a spherical shell. Shell means hollow sphere having radius capital R and containing the total charge Q spread over the whole surface. And let us consider another point P where electric field is to be found. Now, for using Gauss theorem, we have to draw a closed surface which contains that point where electric field is to be found. Then we draw a sphere having radius small r, because r is the distance from center of the sphere to point P. Then we draw a sphere having radius small r. This is closed surface, or it is also called Gaussian surface. When we draw the Gaussian surface, the P point is lie on the Gaussian surface, and we consider a small element of area called ds on the surface at point P, and just draw the direction of this small element of area. Also, I told you the direction of area vector is always normally outward. If this is the surface, then normally outward direction is this. This is the area vector n cap. This is the direction of area vector, and then decide the direction of electric field. Since this spherical shell is positively charged and electric field due to positive charge is away from the positive charge, then the direction of electric field is E, which is also outward from the center of cell. It's okay. Here we found that the direction of area vector and the direction of electric field is same. That's why the angle between these vectors are 0 degree. Now we have to find out the total electric flux through this Gaussian surface. The total electric flux through this Gaussian surface. Net electric flux is represented by E dot ds is equals to, this is written as E dot ds cos 0 degree, because the direction between E and ds is 0 degree, because both are in the same direction. Then it is also written as E and cos 0 equals to 1, then this is whole surface area of ds. This is the closed integral of whole surface, and ds is on this outer sphere. Then the total surface area of this outer sphere is 4 pi r square. This r is the radius of this Gaussian surface, and ds is on this spherical surface. That's why this is the total surface area of outer sphere. This is the value of total flux. It is equation number 1. Now using Gauss theorem, Gauss theorem called E dot ds is equals to 1 upon epsilon naught times of net charge enclosed, q net. The value of left hand side is, from equation 1, it is E dot 4 pi r square. It's okay. And 1 upon epsilon naught q net. Q net is the charge, capital Q. It's okay. From here, E equals to 4 pi epsilon naught 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught q upon r square. This is equation number 2. Now, if sigma is the surface charge density, then sigma equals to total charge upon total area. And now this implies total charge Q equals to sigma into A, and area of the charged surface. This area is the area of this charged surface, because charge resides on the given spherical cell. Then it is written as sigma into A equals to, this is also spherical, and area of spherical surface is 4 pi r square, capital R square, because charge resides on the given surface. And by putting this value of K in equation 2, from equation 2, electric field E equals to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q equals to sigma into 4 pi capital R square divided by small r square. 4 pi and 4 pi cancel each other, and electric field E equals to 1 upon sigma upon epsilon naught capital R square upon small r square. This is the formula for electric field. This is the formula for electric field outside the spherical cell. Second point, electric field at the surface of a spherical cell. It means P point where electric field is to be found lies on the surface of a spherical cell. This is the P point where electric field is to be found. Now we have to consider a small element of surface called ds, and direction of ds is outward, because the direction of area vector is normally outward, and direction of electric field is also in this direction, because this is a positively charged spherical cell, and direction of electric field due to positive charge is away from the positive charge. It means the direction of electric field and normal also in same direction. Hence, using Gauss theorem, Gauss theorem. Electric flux E dot ds equals to E ds cos theta. Cos theta means 0 degree because both vectors are in the same direction. Is free from this integral because ds is the variable and cos 0 equals to 1, then it is only ds. The total surface area of this Gaussian surface is 4 pi r square. It's okay. This is the total flux. This is equation number 1 using Gauss theorem. Using Gauss theorem, total electric flux is equals to 1 upon epsilon naught times net charge enclosed, and net charge is capital Q. Then the value of left hand side is E into 4 pi capital R square from equation 1 and 1 upon epsilon naught. Q is equals to sigma into A, where A is the surface area of this spherical cell. Then this is sigma into A. E equals E into 4 pi r square equals to 1 upon epsilon naught. Sigma, surface area of charged spherical cell. Area of spherical cell is 4 pi r square. R square 4 pi cancel each other, and E is equals to sigma upon epsilon naught. This is the formula for electric field at the surface of a spherical cell. Now, third point is the electric field inside the surface of a spherical cell. It means electric field is to be found inside the spherical cell. Now, let this point P is just inside this spherical cell. Then we have to draw a Gaussian surface, which is a spherical surface having radius small r. Small r is the distance of point P where electric field is to be found from the center of the spherical cell. Then we have to draw a spherical Gaussian surface, and we found that net flux through Gaussian surface is given by E dot ds equals to 1 upon epsilon naught into net charge contained inside Gaussian surface. Gaussian surface 1 upon epsilon naught. What is the net charge inside the Gaussian surface? All the charges are just outside this Gaussian surface. This dotted line is Gaussian surface, and charges lies outside the Gaussian surface. Then net charge inside the Gaussian surface is 0. That's why electric field inside the spherical cell is 0. This is one of the most important part. Inside the Gaussian surface, electric field must be 0. Now we have to draw graph between distance from center and electric field. We take a graph in which along y-axis electric field is taken and along x-axis distance has been taken. This is the point where electric field and radius both are 0. When we go through the away from the center, when we go from away to the center, then electric field must be zero up to the surface. When we just before the surface, electric field inside the whole spherical shell must be zero, then the graph lies over the x-axis. But when we reach at the surface, it means distance from the center is r. Whenever we reach at the distance r, the electric field goes maximum. Electric field goes maximum. This is maximum electric field. And after that, when we go outside the spherical shell from the formula, the electric field decreases gradually. It's okay. This is the graph between electric field and distance from the center. It's okay. Now this class is over right now, and stay home, stay safe.